I'm George Galloway, and I want to talk to you about the scandal that has broken as a result of some brilliant undercover investigative journalism by Al Jazeera and published on the front page of the British newspaper The Mail on Sunday. Most of you will know the outline. An Israeli official in charge of political relations with Britain's political parties, a man with a very large bag of money, about which more later, no junior employee. This is a man who is on the conference circuit and is in and out of the British Parliament almost on a daily basis, doing his business for Israel. He was captured on film with some friends from Labour and Conservative, including members of Parliament and high-ranking parliamentary officials, plotting to bring down a British government minister. And not just any minister, Sir Alan Duncan, the Deputy Foreign Minister of Britain. Now, I've known Sir Alan Duncan for more than 30 years. He's a very brave man, not just because he stands out against Israeli crimes against the Palestinian people, but because he was the very first publicly out gay Conservative MP. And so when the Israeli official said that he could arrange a scandal to bring down Alan Duncan from the Foreign Office position that he holds, you don't have to be Einstein to work out what kind of scandal that might have been. That ought to have been enough for Boris Johnson, who was called an idiot in the same piece of footage by the Israeli official, to summon Mark Regev, the Israeli ambassador to London, and give him his marching orders. He didn't, of course, do that for reasons which we will go into in just a few minutes. But that was not all that was uncovered. The friends at the lunch asked the Israeli official whether there were not other MPs that could meet the same fate, could be brought down in a scandal by this man that they were lunching with. And they came up with a very interesting name. Sir Crispin Blunt, no less, the chairman of the British Parliament's Foreign Affairs Committee. They didn't like him either. They wanted to bring him down, to arrange a scandal for him. Now, he too is a publicly out gay Conservative. Again, you don't have to wonder for long what kind of a scandal that might have been. I don't mean to be flippant, but maybe they would have put Alan Duncan and Crispin Blunt together under the bedclothes. Maybe that would have been the ultimate, the mother of all scandals, bringing them both down at the same time. Now, Boris Johnson declared the matter immediately closed. So my first question to you is, if that had been a Russian embassy official or an Iranian embassy official planning to bring down important people in the British state, would the matter have been immediately closed, or would the respective ambassadors be brought into the Foreign Office and promptly expelled from the country? Wouldn't we be now in the middle of a state-to-state crisis with any other state that's carried out such subversion of our democratic process? And that's what I want to turn to next, because these two Tory knights of the Shire can look after themselves. I'm more interested in the Labour Party aspects of this. Jeremy Corbyn and I marched together for more than 30 years in support of the Palestinian people. Since the day and hour that Corbyn was elected, indeed, when it became clear that he was likely to be elected, the Israel lobby has gone absolutely bananas. They persecuted Jeremy Corbyn every step of the way to the leadership, and as soon as he had won it, they began trying to have him overthrown. They confected an entirely fake anti-Semitism scare inside the Labour Party, painting their own party as a nest of racism, when of course the truth was that there was nothing to such allegations whatsoever. The only thing that most Labour Party members have in common with Jeremy Corbyn on this is their support for justice for the Palestinian people and their opposition to the crimes of the State of Israel? Well, there was a Labour MP at the lunch. Her name is Joan Ryan. She's the Member of Parliament for Enfield, though you wouldn't know it. In fact, she's more properly described as the MP for Tel Aviv. She's the chair of the so-called Labour Friends of Israel. And she was there for a very important purpose. And the same Israeli official in charge of political relations with the British political parties gave her some very good news. And in the pictures accompanying the Al Jazeera footage, you can see the breadth of the smile on her face. As well it might, because the official told her that he had secured more than £1 million as a slush fund for Labour members of Parliament to come to the aid of the State of Israel. It's being dressed up as more than £1 million to fly Labour members of Parliament to Israel for fact-finding missions. But that's entirely bogus. First of all, most of them have already been on not one but several fact-finding missions to Israel. Secondly, you can fly to Israel for well under £1,000. And let's say half of the Labour MPs have taken the shekel. That doesn't even cost you £100,000. What was the other £900,000 for? I'll tell you. It was for a slush fund to destabilise Jeremy Corbyn, to try and overthrow Jeremy Corbyn as the leader of the Labour Party. It was for a political slush fund operated by Labour members of Parliament on behalf of a foreign power. Not just any foreign power, but one which is the biggest international lawbreaker on the earth. One which has just been unanimously condemned by the entire Security Council of the United Nations for its criminal activities against the Palestinian people. What kind of Labour MP is not only in bed with a state like that, but is receiving covertly, because you would never have heard of the existence of this slush fund of more than £1 million, taking money from a foreign embassy to lobby for that foreign country when that foreign country stands in public opprobrium amongst almost all Labour Party members, most people in Britain and most countries in the world. And the third aspect I want to deal with is this. It is said in the video by the high-ranking Conservative official at the lunch that almost all Conservative MPs are members of the Conservative Friends of Israel. I can tell you that at least half of the Labour MPs are members of the Labour Friends of Israel. Isn't it about time that you demanded that your Member of Parliament's first allegiance was to Britain? That their first responsibility was to debate and decide on what Britain's foreign policy should be, rather than be agents for somebody else's country? And when that somebody else's country is a country of gangsters that murder people, including British people, and for a very long time. The Israel lobby have been in Westminster and Whitehall before, you know. They tried to murder Sir Winston Churchill, the British Prime Minister, at a time when he was leading our country in the epic battle against Hitler fascism, the perpetrators of a Holocaust which murdered 6 million of Jews. They planted bombs in the Foreign Office in Whitehall. They murdered British officials. They hanged 2 British sergeants with piano wire in an orange grove and took pictures of it so that they could spread it as propaganda around the world. They blew up more than 90 British civil servants in a hotel in Jerusalem. Israel invented terrorism. It invented modern terrorism at any rate. Yet now it calls its victims, the Palestinian people, the terrorists and themselves the victims of terror. Well, we can talk about sorting out the Middle East later on another day. But first, we have to sort out our own parliament and our own democratic system. We must not tolerate its subversion by a foreign power. We cannot tolerate members of parliament being bought and paid for by a foreign power, because we can never know when they say, when they ask, when they do what they do in parliament. We can never know if they're doing it because it's in our interests or it's in the interests of someone else. I haven't seen the Al Jazeera documentary in full yet, but when I do, I'm sure, God willing, I'll have the chance to come and talk to you about it again.